Welcome into the PHNX Suns pregame show. It's a 40-40 Club edition. I'm Espo. He's
Volume 2. Let's go.
It's the better volume. It's the better looking
flex.
one.
You don't let him talk to you about
flex
like
on.
that.
Yeah, it is a Thursday evening. It's Suns Raptors, but we've got something to talk about before then. But we are brought to you by our friends over at Michelob ULTRA. 2.5 carbs, 95 calories. All taste. This is going to explode on me.
You just fucking shook it like...
It didn't explode. All right. All taste. Look at that. Mick Ultra. I love it. I love it.
Oh, my God.
Anyways,
Eric with the clutch screenshot. Good job, buddy. Good job.
A big announcement today out at the Footprint Center. Nothing too crazy. I'm glad we got the screenshot sounder in there as well. They touted it as this big announcement that they weren't going to tell us what it was. You know, well, it was Commissioner Adam Silver, Governor Katie Hobbs, and Matt Ishbia there to tell us all what Shams told us a week ago, that the Phoenix Suns are going to host the 2027 NBA All-Star Game. What were your initial thoughts on that? I know we knew it was coming, but now that it's official and we heard from the commission,
I mean, honestly, it's tremendous. The biggest theme for this was that Matt Ishbia has made some quick moves in trying to get not only the NBA All-Star Game but also the WNBA All-Star Game, which is this summer. So, that was the biggest takeaway. They answered some questions afterwards too that we'll get to in a second, but I just think, listen, Matt Ishbia is going to do everything he possibly can to try and elevate this franchise and elevate the community. And I know sometimes Suns fans, because of wins and losses, they get all up in their feels. But listen, you have an owner that's actively trying to do everything he can to win a championship, and that's what you want. I don't really care if it doesn't work out. Like, at least he cares and he's trying and he's pushing the franchise to try as hard as they can as well. He cares about the employees. He cares about everybody else in that organization. That was the other theme of this whole thing. I'm a big fan.
Yeah, what I liked is it obviously shows how much the league respects what he's been able to accomplish here in a year, not just on the court, but obviously he's addressed a bunch of the issues that were paramount to what led to him getting this team in the first place. So when the commissioner in both leagues decide to award a game like this, it is in part a thank you for what they've done and a stamp of approval on what's going on in the city. And I think that spoke volumes to me, that he went in, he wanted it, and they could have said no. They could have said, hey, 2030, sure, we'll give it to you then, keep proving it. He's obviously done such a good job in their eyes that they were willing to award it. And I like that they talked about trying to learn from each city and what they've done to try to turn this into the best All-Star game that they could possibly have, because we've seen All-Stars in other cities not always be the greatest, not live up to the hype. I'm hoping that they do some special things in this town to make it worthy of this fan base.
My biggest fear is that the game isn't going to mean much anyway, and it doesn't right now. Obviously it doesn't mean anything right now, but the play on the court also is worrisome because it's just non-competitive, and they did address that as well, and we'll get to that in a second. But if that doesn't get fixed, I don't really know how much it really brings to the city in terms of viewership. If the Saturday night events are kind of weak, the game itself on Sunday is kind of weak. I know there's still going to be a party, but it just loses a little something if it doesn't mean anything.
I'm selfish. It just means all of the NBA will be here and great content for us. So I'll take that regardless
True.
of how it plays out. But we actually got an opportunity to speak with Matt Ishbia and Commissioner Adam Silver after, and Matt Ishbia talked about the process of bringing the All-Star Game to Phoenix. Oh, never mind. Adam Silver talks about how to fix the All-Star Game.
One thing that I learned, to be honest, in Indiana, we had a theme back to basketball, returning to the traditional East versus West format, the 48-minute game. I think I learned my lesson. You can't turn the clock back. I mean, it's just, just as I was saying before, other major leagues have approached All-Star games in a different fashion. I think we just got to take into account that guys are playing hard. It's, for 82 game regular season, they see this as a break. And it's not, what was most upsetting to me about the All-Star game itself is the extent that people away with the impression that our players don't care as much. They care so much. And I think frankly, it's not really their fault. It's everyone around them is telling them, don't go too hard, don't get injured. It's such a long season. There's so much at stake. And I think we gotta sit down collectively, teams and players, and think, how can we bring out the best in basketball, keep it entertaining and fun for our fans, still showcase their talents, and maybe have a different kind of competition?
First off, Gerald, that's the size mic that you should bring places. Second of all,
get that mic a little closer.
Yeah, well, it wasn't actually working. But anyways, I want to talk about this because you brought it up. The competition. Adam Silver said they screwed up this year, trying to go back to traditional in terms of East versus West and their approach to it, and praised some of the other leagues for their unique take on what they do on All-Star Weekend. Do you think that means we're going to see some major changes, and do you want it to get more interesting, maybe smaller teams, a four-team tournament like the NHL does, or World versus USA? Like it feels like that's what Adam Silver was hinting at.
I mean, honestly, I think the format that's going to work the best is what they do for the World versus USA on Friday night. Mm-hmm. Like they do like a format of was it 3 teams or 4?
They did 4 this year.
4, yeah. And they rotate and they kind of play like a tournament style, and then you come out with one at the end. And I think that's the format, to be honest with you. I really do. I think that's, you put 6 or 7 guys on each team and you roll with them and see how it goes, because that's the only way you're going to get any sliver of competition out of these guys. There's just what else are you going to do? You know what I mean? What else are you going to do? These guys, if you just throw them out there, East versus West, that you're just going to get this over and over and over again.
I want a 2-on-2 tournament. You vote the All-Stars, you pair them up in 2s, and then you roll that out there. I think that could be interesting. If you're going to go unique, go completely unique for me here.
But that's not the game.
But he just admitted the All-Star game isn't the game. That's what he said, that these other leagues are doing something creative, and that's what they want to do. So
I mean, he did say he was pissed off after Indiana, for sure. He did say that. He reiterated it today in the scrum. He was not happy with what happened in Indiana. He thought it was, listen, they kind of made a mockery of the whole thing. And he says, now Adam Silver did say in our little scrum that he also heard from other players that felt the same way. They just felt like they just had to kind of go along with what was happening on the court. And so, yeah, where does it stop? Where does it, start? I have no idea, but there's got to be some change.
Eli says the most immediate way of improving All-Star Weekend is to not have it in Indiana.
True.
I agree.
That's why they moved it all to the West Coast for the next 3.
Yeah. Why don't we take a look at what Matt Ishbia had to say about the process of bringing the All-Star game to Phoenix?
And then for this process in general, it's just been a great process all around. Adam and the team at the NBA have been so welcoming to us, along with the whole city of Phoenix has been welcoming to me, and just being able to bring the WNBA All-Star Game and now the NBA All-Star Game, and a lot of the great things we've done in the community has been such a coup. It's so exciting for me, because I look at it as I work for the city, I work for the fans, and I think hopefully they look at me as doing a good job, and at the same time I'm not going to relax. I'm going to figure out how to continue to do a good job every single day, and that's my job on a daily basis, and that's what I want as a fan, and hopefully I'm delivering that.
Look, he says everything right. And he seems to do everything right when it comes to the fan base. I know that the bar was on the floor with the old guy here, and so anything's going to be impressive. But I feel like he says the right things, and he appears to be doing everything that you could want from an owner.
I mean, listen, you're right. That's exactly what he's doing. You know, he talked about even building the facilities for the support staff and all the other little small things that they're putting into this franchise to make it a better experience. This is the first time I did hear, though, that you know, he didn't say it in this clip, but that he was making that other facility so that way they could take advantage of the office space in there for fans and for kids. He said for kids specifically, which kind of was just like something I didn't even think about.
It's a huge space. It's 4 floors.
Oh yeah,
right off the
There's a lot of potential with that space for sure. So clearly they've got a plan in mind about how they want to execute the arena and what they want to do to manipulate it. And I listen, everything he's done so far since his tenure began has been money. Whether or not it ends up in a championship or not, we'll see. But at least the effort and everybody pulling the rope in the same direction is what's happening right now. And for that, he should be commended.
He did again mention that this isn't his franchise. He's just a steward of the city. And that made me ask him, how important was it to bring this for the fans? And what will they try to do for those fans that won't be able to get in the game? This is what he had to say.
Well, it's really important. Obviously, not everyone can come to the game, no matter if the games were free. You only have 17,000 seats in the stadium, and so how do you figure out how to bring it? That was a big part of the TV deal that we came out and said, listen, we have 3 million households in Arizona. Let's give it to everybody. Let's make sure everyone can enjoy the great Phoenix Suns and the great Phoenix Mercury and enjoy basketball, because I'm a huge fan of basketball. Men's basketball, women's basketball, youth basketball, all basketball. How do we bring it and level up the game? And I think that's part of it. And with that being said, the All-Star games, you can't fit more than 17,000 people in here. However, it's bringing a lot of energy, a lot of excitement to the city, and we're going to see that this summer, and then we're going to see it, X times bigger when the NBA All-Star game comes in 2027. We're going to make them both great events, and we're really excited about it.
Yeah, and I think they should be. It's a chance. I mean, there's no better city to be in February than Phoenix. We know that. Weather-wise, it's going to be a lot of fun. We got 3 more years to wait. It's not next year, but it'll be fun. But let's turn our attention to tonight's game. It is Suns versus Raptors. Suns coming off that big win against the Nuggets. The Raptors got their teeth kicked in against the Pelicans in their last game. Raptors have been struggling since the trade deadline. They've obviously traded a big part of their franchise in Pascal Siakam. They've also dealt with injuries since then. How are you feeling about this game? Your initial thoughts.
I mean, I don't feel like you could take any game for granted. I know Prong came in hot off the top of the show talking about this is going to be a 30-point win. I hope you're right, but history tells us that that's not going to be the case. This is going to be a game, and it's up to the Suns to execute at a high level and dominate this game. They should dominate this game. They have the talent to do it. It's just, again, are we being careless with the ball? Are we executing on offense? Are we connected on defense? These are the same things that have been kind of a theme. And when we lose to the bad teams, it's because all those things happen against us. And as long as they clean that up and they play up to their potential, they should come out with an easy dub.
Yeah, I mean, you bring up defense, and this is a team where you can force a lot of turnovers against. Since in their last 3 games, they're averaging 14 turnovers. They're without, and we'll get into the injuries here in a second, but they're without Scotty Barnes, who is basically everything to their offense right now since the trade deadline. So there's a lot of opportunity here, and this is a team 25th offensive rating and 27th defensive rating since the Siakam trade. This isn't a good team. You can't overlook them. The Suns have proven that anybody can beat them at any time, but this is the kind of game you need Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal to prove that they can come and take care of business and hopefully have an easier win, because they they all could use a little time off in that fourth quarter if possible tonight. Let's take a look at the injury report and see who will be in and who is out. A long list today. Devin Booker out with that right ankle sprain. Josh Okogie still out with the lower abdominal strain. Nasir Little left knee inflammation. Flex day-to-day with vertigo. And Lindsey Smith has the plague, I believe, and she is out this evening. So nobody coughing and running off the set tonight, hopefully. And then Scotty Barnes out, Bruce Brown out, Jakob Poeltl, Jalen McDaniels is available, and I can't pronounce the other guy's name.
Oshai Agabaji.
Yeah, that's what you said. I thought Eric stole Emma's dyslexia and just pounded on the keyboard there. I wasn't sure what was going on. So, look, again, depleted Toronto team. This should not be any issue for the Suns team, but time and time again, we see them struggle. I mean, case in point, in games that they've been favored, they're 27-35 against the spread. Like they have fallen short in games that they've been favored a lot this year, and in disappointing fashion as well. Like, and so I don't feel as confident as other people feel just because of what we've seen. This is a prove it to me game. A show me game.
Yeah. Again, if they have total control over this win, this is an easy win. This should be a very, very easy win. There won't be another game outside of maybe Charlotte that you're going to have on the schedule that's going to give you the amount of ease in terms of victory that you should have tonight. This should be a cruise control game after halftime. So come out, put it to them, get it over with, and don't let Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal stick around in the fourth quarter because just like the other night against the Houston Rockets, when you fuck around and play with your food, injuries happen.
Yep.
And that's what happened with the Houston Rockets and Devin Booker. We need to make sure that doesn't happen tonight. Take care of your business and move along.
Well, and this is Frank Vogel's chance to show that the defense the other night wasn't a fluke either. This is a Raptors team that only scored 98 points the other night. Like, you should be able to lock down on this group in ways that we haven't seen. I'm a guy that you have to control tonight, and it's more of the passing than anything. Kelly Olynyk had 7 assists the other night for this team. He's a big that can pass very much like Nurk. If you can shut him down, they don't really have a lot of guys that are going to help facilitate in this offense, right? So you gotta figure that out for sure.
You know the Raptors are down bad when you're looking at
Kelly
Olynyk as being a must-stop player.
Have you looked at their offense?
I'm just saying, they're down bad if that's the case.
Of anybody that you're gonna get some turnovers off of. Let's take a look at what the guys are wearing tonight. The uniforms tonight. It's the Icon Edition purple for the Suns against the Association white and red of the Raptors. The Raptors uniforms are just average after when they had the old Raptor and some of their cooler uniforms. This is what it is with the chevron pattern on it. Let's take a look at who we got in tonight's game. As Saul, who do you got tonight?
I got the Suns by 7. I know Lindsay's got the Suns by 8, and Gerald's got the Suns by 9. And
I'm going by 11. I'm thinking they figured out and they want to make a point tonight is what I'm thinking goes on out here, and I hope, because I don't need another nail biter tonight. Let's take a look what our friends over at BetMGM have to say about tonight's game. They have the Suns as a 10.5 point favorite. As I mentioned, though, this team has struggled against the spread throughout the season, so we'll see if they can reach that 11 point or more victory to hit.
I mean, not only do they think the Suns will win, but those odds are stupid high at minus 500. I mean, they think they're going to win and win big in this game. I'm a little scared about my bet, to be honest with you.
Well, why don't we take a look at it? What is your bet tonight?
Yeah, so I have I think it's a 5-leg parlay. KD with 25 points, Beal with 20 points, Grayson with 10 points, Nurkic with 12 points. Here's the trick. The spread on the Raptors at a plus 15.5. That's a little dicey because, as you said, I don't know who's going to score for the Raptors, so I don't know if they can even keep it within that. I hope they can, just for my bets. But you know what? I won't be so mad if they get blown out.
Let's take a look at mine, and then we'll get to the other two degenerates who couldn't show up. Grayson Allen, exact first basket, 2-pointer at plus 1750 tonight for me.
I think this one, because of the lack of size for Toronto, I think this one is going to be a Nurkic 2-point shot.
I'm kind of hoping they go down to Nurk and maybe Toronto flashes a double team or something because of that size differential. And
they
don't
typically double Nurk.
No, but I don't with the size that you're giving up. I don't know. Maybe Nurk will kick it out. I'll take a.
You guys maybe think that Flex isn't here because the bookie caught up with him because he's lost so many bets.
No,
maybe.
I don't know, man.
Maybe the BetMGM bookie might came and got him.
By the way, I have an idea at some point that we should discuss. I think we should get bonus money if you hit the points that we guess they win by 11. If you hit it exactly, you should get bonus money that you can bet on the next bet.
Well, I think next year when we do this, we should, if we get a bonus bet on the BetMGM app, we should be able to use that.
I think I like that as well. I don't know if our man behind the Mac could do the math on that, but we'll try. We'll try as he counts his fingers back there.
I can go up to like 15. Well, okay, that's where I max out.
Let's take a look at what Lindsay bet tonight. I'm sure it's boring. Bradley Beal to make his first shot attempt. Yes, at a minus 130.
Oh my God, it's so basic.
Minus 130.
She's going to get it.
Still, okay, half your $3, Lindsay. Congratulations. And let's see what
13.
Let's see what wild swing that's going to make Puerto Rico disappointed again. Flex takes tonight.
Ooh, 3 legs.
A 3-leg parlay. Kevin Durant, 40+ points. The total points under 234.5, and a Suns win at plus 1,400. I mean, congratulations, Flex, for flushing another $10.
Unless Kevin Durant comes out in the first quarter and gets like 15 to 20, it ain't gonna happen. I don't think he's gonna be in long enough to be able to do that.
Like, is the vertigo making his betting even worse? Is that what's going on?
It might make it better, but to have a 3-leg parlay where one of the legs is somebody to score 40+ points in a game like this is
crazy.
That's pretty on brand.
And it's only plus 1,400, and you're taking. I feel like the plus 1,400 could just be for the 40 points itself there. So those are our picks tonight. Do we have an updated standings or no? Here we go. The updated standings. I'm leading because I get lucky every once in a while. $273.50. Saul has $128.76. Lindsay's
about to hit that red, baby.
In the negative. She's at 723. And Flex is all the way down in the bottom of the well. Minus 136.
Yeah, he's not even at the bottom of the well, man. He's at the core of the earth.
No, that's out. Tonight he'll have another 10 out of there. He just keeps digging. Eventually he'll make it through, I guess. So, but if you want to take any of these bets or you want to bet something smarter than we're doing tonight, head over to our friends at BetMGM. Sign up for the BetMGM Sportsbook app using promo code PHNX. Place your first wager through the Sportsbook app for at least $5. You're going to receive $150 in additional winnings regardless of your wager's outcome. So Flex, there is a way you can get money even if you lose. Sign up today. Check out the show notes for full details. And now listen to Damon talk about the disclaimer.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 Massachusetts. 21 plus to wager. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP Arizona. 1-800-BETS-OFF Iowa. 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help Michigan. 1-800-981-0023 Puerto Rico in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. Visit BetMGM.com for terms. This promotional offer is not available in New York, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico.
Get stuffed, Ontario and Puerto Rico. We're sorry, Flex represents you. Kevin Durant had an article today with Bleacher Report. Our friend Crispy Haynes, Crispy, talked with Kevin, and there was one quote in it that I found interesting that I want to take a look at here. He said, Kevin said, quote, "I like our chemistry and not just the three of us, but our whole team. I think we're starting to build something and form an identity, and that takes time and reps. Our coaching staff is doing a great job. I'm not promising anything, but I like our chances against anybody." I like to hear this. I know that you're supposed to say, oh, we can do anything, but there's ways to do that without buying all the way in. And Kevin sounds like he's fully bought in with what this team can do and what they're capable of. Are you as confident as Kevin Durant right now?
I mean, he should be confident. No, I'm not confident. I'm not confident because I need to see it consistently. And I'll say that about just about everything. Hell, when we have, when we do our monthly analytics and we look at video views and podcast views, sometimes we have a pod that has a great month. And I'm like, all right, back it up and do it again. And if they don't, I'm like, it's the consistency that matters. Are you consistently growing? Are they consistently getting better? That's the thing that matters. And so if they can put back-to-back wins and then they come back on Saturday and play Saturday against the Celtics, and they can put together a good effort, then great. Like that's fantastic, and I'm excited about that. But if they come out, lay an egg tonight and barely win, and then they come out against the Celtics and they kind of play with their food again, then we're right back to where we were a couple days ago. But hey, listen, I think we will look back at Denver as a turning point for this season, because that was just such a gutty win on the road, high altitude, everything against you. You blew the lead in the fourth quarter. The fourth quarter Suns were back again, where they were just terrible, but you found it in overtime. And to be resilient like that after, kind of having to battle back in the last seconds of that game, that means something. And these players are going to capitalize on that. And listen, I want to give Frank Vogel a shout out, because the other night I was hard on him because I felt like they did a trash job coaching this team against the Rockets. Against the Nuggets, I thought they did a much better job. And his post-game speech basically saying, like, fuck the haters, it's us against the world. I thought that was exactly what this team needed to hear. You could hear them responding in the background. They were hyped up. That's exactly what we need. That's exactly what we need, and it came at the right time.
Agreed. I will believe more in this team if they do back it up tonight, because every time we start to feel confident, there's a backslide. There's something that happens that they just don't look as good. Win convincingly, don't have a horrific fourth quarter tonight, and I'll have a little bit more confidence. But until I see them do that on a regular basis with lesser teams, and I'm sorry, Toronto is a lesser team. I know every NBA team has talent, and they're all NBA teams, but this is a lesser team in Toronto, especially with the injuries. So they need to come out and prove it tonight. We'll find out, though. Game's about to tip, so we will talk to you after. Esau, I'm Espo. Ahoy, ahoy.
We all silly like the mayor.